Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the A-Gap Podcast. And now, your host, Colby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the A-Gap Podcast. We are here. We are live. We got a new face on the panel. If you're not familiar, let me shift everybody around, get them into their proper nameplates. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Connor McCann, aka Connor McCant on Twitter. Give him a follow. He is an absolute riot. He is sitting in for Matt today. How's it going, brother?
It is going well. Could not be happier to be here. Thank you guys for allowing me to kind of make the shift from texting away in the chat to showing my face and giving some of my raucous and insatiable opinions here.
Absolutely.
I'm just glad they can finally put a face to the name of my source for all things sports, dude. So I'm glad that they can finally see what happens behind the scenes.
This is the version they're seeing, the Mustache May version. It's a great one to start out.
Yes, absolutely. The Mustache May is what we're here for. It is what we're here for. Well, for those of you that don't know, today's Tuesday, May 17th. The NBA lottery was today. The Eastern Conference Finals get started today. A lot of great hockey. The Giants are currently playing. It is a hell of a day for sports, but NBA is reigning king. But before we get into all that, you guys know the drill. Obviously, I want to ask you, how was the weekend? How was the week? Anything interesting go on for you guys over the past week?
Let's throw it to Connor first. He's the new guest, so if he's got anything
that's
to
a
share.
good point.
Got to start it off. Well, the last few weekends have been just really relaxing. My work schedule has shifted to doing training for a bunch of different financial licenses, so I've been doing that throughout the weeks, trying to keep it relaxed on the weekends. So my life's been pretty boring. Wake up, go to the gym, hit the books, take the dogs to the dog park, and then rinse and repeat. So can't say anything special has been going on over here in the Rocky Mountains.
I do have a question about said dog park, Connor. Have they opened up that top half of the dog park yet?
No, not yet. They're still doing a bunch of landscaping and renovation to it. So it's this big, the loop is about 1.5 miles. So it's a very big dog park, but it's
massive.
All rough and open space. So they're doing a bunch of renovating now because they get thousands of people each week, and it just gets destroyed. So concrete paths and all weather terrain and sunspots and water places, and it's going to be awesome. So not yet, but soon, hopefully.
Stoked to see it, dude. Stoked to see it.
Very dope.
That'll be beautiful. I'm sure the dogs will love it. That'll be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a cat too? You said a cat walked behind you.
I do have a cat, yeah. So I got two dogs. I got Beast, who you'll see there. He's my boy. And then Echo's at my feet here.
Adorable.
And then Athena is the little cat you'll see walking back.
Oh, I like that name. That's awesome.
Got a whole zoo.
Oh, yeah.
But you can call her Cat.
Cat, that's her name. It's just Cat. We never have ever called her Athena. It's just Cat or Kitty. That's all it is.
I love that. That's very easy to remember.
I love that.
That's the IQ at work right there.
Wonderful.
And I will say, Cat is a cuddler. She's awesome.
Aw, those are the best. My cat is running around. I'm sure she'll hop in my chair or try and hop in my lap at some point during the show because her mother is out of office right now. There we go. This is the pet podcast now. Tom was showing off the new pup. Everyone's got pups and pets now, dude. Look at us. We're all fur daddies.
Exactly, dude.
It's this instead of children.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where we get our Twitch money. We just start putting in our description that we're fur daddies, and then we can start getting that Twitch money.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a different hashtag, John. I think we get it. Yeah, a whole different audience. Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We are out here today, boys. Oh, True Grit is also out here today in the chat. He said Trae Young was at his office today. He got a free shirt. That's badass. Those of you that don't know,
Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, shoot us in the pics. Dylan has a pretty cutty job. I think I don't know if he wants me to tell you what he does, but he works for a wonderful apparel company. So I'm sure you can deduce by who Trae Young's sponsors are why he was in the office. But that's fucking awesome, dude. What kind of shirt was it? Just like a Trae Young shirt or what? Let us know. That sounds badass.
That's sick.
Very cool.
Well, gentlemen, should we just get right into the sports? I know we have a lot to talk about. Unless somebody really had something going on that they needed to get off their chest, or we can save it till the end for all of our take backs and everything. Oh, he said it was the TY logo. Fuck yeah, dude.
Ooh,
that's badass.
Nice.
Very cool.
Is his hair worse or better in person? Is it like can you see the paint that's on top of it or
Absolutely a great question.
I think he uses lacquer. It's not paint, it's lacquer.
It's like
he's Rogaine is what he needs.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude, why would he not be a Rogaine guy? Like, I feel like if I work for Rogaine, it's like, dude, come on. He had a hat on. That's fucking hilarious. Oh my fucking
him and my
God.
dad always wear hats for very specific reasons.
Him and my dad always.
It's the shade, man. It's the shade.
Yeah, gotta protect the eyes, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, you see this guy? See this guy? Number one bullshit guy.
All right, let's get the sports rolling. So obviously, I want to start. I don't want to bury.
Recapping the game sevens, or what's the plan here?
I'm down. Let's recap some game sevens. Let's talk about it, because I was going to hop into what's going on now, but there was a massive series that just wrapped up. So where do you guys want to start? You want to start on the East? You want to start on the West?
I think we should start with the Bucks and the Celtics. I feel as most appropriate. And then we'll have a little chance for the Warriors talk, and then later we'll have Kings talk. It'll be everyone will get to say their piece. The podcast is very separated the right way tonight. I like it.
It is. Yeah, it's 2 and 2.
You're in the playoffs fans at the bottom, and then us Kings fans trying to feel superior at the top, because that's how
whatever's
we do
clever. Whatever's clever.
True.
They don't need to be at the top because they're in the playoffs. So.
I'd be remiss if I didn't interject real quick and say the hockey game sevens that happened were all very awesome, and the hockey playoffs are awesome right now.
Those game sevens cleared all of the NBA game sevens, and I mean, absolutely washed them out of the water. Those game sevens were insane.
Yeah,
the NBA ones were trash. The NBA ones were pretty bad.
No, hockey has been it's been fun to watch. The series that are set up right now are actually really, really fun. I'm super excited about Calgary against Edmonton. That's going to be a battle that hasn't happened, like a playoff battle like that hasn't happened in Northern Canada since, I think they said it was like the 80s or early 90s. So the fans are going to be electric. Those games are going to be must watch. Pretty much all the games have been much must watch so far. So just good hockey being played, boys. Good hockey being played.
I have caught the bug.
It's playoff hockey. It's I feel like I always catch the bug too late, and then it ends, and I'm like, fuck, why didn't I watch hockey all season long? It happens every single season.
Well, Connor's got it different because thankfully he's getting into hockey at a time where he lives in Colorado, and so he's got like a dope team he can attach to. We all got into it with the Sharks, who have been, some ups and some playoff runs, but man, it's been heartbreak. So classic Bay Area sports.
Rough.
Yeah, it'll happen to you though. But congrats, Connor, on your team being awesome in the Stanley Cup hunt.
I'm excited. Yeah, I am excited. I know next to nothing. Nobody knows less about hockey than I do, but nobody will cheer harder blindly about hockey than I will.
There we
go. We welcome you here. Welcome. Come.
Hopefully get Matty Fern out this way for a playoff game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for John. How's my Minnesota Wild future going?
Oh no, they got bounced. I'm sorry.
I know.
Hey, how's that?
I like their logo. I thought it was cool.
Hey, I like the A being thrown in there, dude. Look at that.
Is that appropriation?
Hockey hour. Maybe.
Appreciation. It's appreciation.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching a little bit of hockey, mostly just a couple game sevens that you guys just mentioned, but it has been absolutely nuts. But as Tom mentioned, let's talk Bucks Celtics. Obviously, the Celtics are playing now, so I think we all know how that went. Spoiler alert. But do you guys think, I'll just throw this out there, if the Bucks had Chris Middleton, do you think they are playing the Heat right now?
Yes.
Okay. See, I'm with Connor a little bit on this one.
It's so hard to say.
It is.
I mean, does Chris Middleton save them from shooting like 10% from three? He probably bumps that up a little bit.
A little bit, right? Yeah, he's got to help.
Defensive end. Yes.
But rebounding.
Yes. I mean, yes,
1-2 game with Giannis.
We're arguing on if the Bucks are better with Chris Middleton or not. They absolutely are.
They are.
100%.
But I don't know, something about the way that Celtics team was playing just on both sides of the ball throughout the entire game. I think that they just had it. I think they had that look in their eye. Jason Tatum struggling at the beginning, quote unquote, struggling for Jason Tatum, really bumped Horford into a next level, bumped Brown into a next level. Peyton Pritchard out of nowhere into the next level.
Just on Game 7, all right? Peyton Pritchard had some bad games in that series.
Hey,
Game 7
shows up when it matters.
Came out. Hey, 4 threes, huge.
I think it's much closer.
Grayson Allen 0 for 6 in that same game.
Yeah, I think it's much closer. I still would give the edge to the Celtics, but absolutely, I think it's much closer. It's not a 20-point blowout that it turned out to be. That's tough, though. I mean, you see what losing players, playoff experience players like PJ Tucker, who's playing right now for the Heat, does. Being able to defend those Jason Tatums. You know, it was basically Giannis and Drew Holiday versus the world for the Bucks, and that just in today's NBA. You can't do it. Don't
you feel like they really miss this guy, the big ragu, Dante DiVincenzo? Don't you think they would have rather that guy been on the fucking court than Grayson Allen?
Yes.
Fucking Matthews was admirable defensively, but didn't bring his offense ever. And then Connaughton got hot sometimes, but not as hot as they needed him to be to win the game. Not as hot as they need him to be the entire series. He had some great games. So Dante DiVincenzo, shocking that he would have been so effective on this team.
I love Dante, and I'm right there with you. He absolutely would have done a lot more than Connaughton, maybe not offensively, but a lot more defensively than Connaughton and Matthews. A lot more playable in those situations.
I think Grayson is the one I'd switch out. You know, I can live with Wes Matthews. I can live with the other Connaughton, of course, but
they chose Grayson Allen over PJ Tucker and Dante DiVincenzo is how it turned out.
Oh, and to get Serge Ibaka, who didn't play a fucking minute in the series.
Didn't play. And another one, Javon Carter, who was the second highest rated defender on that team throughout the entire playoffs, played 2 minutes in that Game 7.
That's crazy.
I saw that narrative too. Everyone's like, if only Carter had played, the whole thing would be different.
Javon Carter.
I'm like, I don't know who that guy is, but sure.
Yeah.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Would have made it a 25-point blowout instead of a 28-point blowout.
100%. I like what you're saying, Connor, about that. It doesn't even matter. Even if Chris Middleton was there, the Celtics team was on a mission. And maybe this is a win-win for both franchises because the Bucks can go home saying, hey, if we had Middleton, we would have won. And the Celtics get what they want. They get to go to the next round. And what is looking like it's their finals to lose, right? And I'm looking at the scoreboard right now, and I see that they're down by 8 points. But I feel like it's their finals to lose now, right? We'll get to the other parts of this. But yeah,
I agree with you. And obviously, they're down 2 big guys. Al Horford's been massive for them. We'll get into it. But talking about blowouts, let's transition over to the West. Did anybody expect the Mavericks to just smatter the Suns? Like, how fun was that to watch?
Yeah, as a Warriors fan, you love to see it. Yep, you love to see it.
Doesn't scare you at all?
I mean, in terms of the matchup, it's just like Phoenix has always had the Warriors number, and even though Dallas beat us 3-1 in the season series, we played them close, and we were also without, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we were without Clay and Steph for 3 of them.
Without Dre for 3 of them. They had Steph and Clay, but they were without Dre for 3 of them. And one of the games that they lost, they blew just a really small 28-point fourth quarter lead to the Mavericks in the regular season. But it doesn't scare me. It obviously makes your ears perk up. You're not going to say, oh yeah, they blew out the number 1 seed and say, oh, it was a fluke, but it was not only the Mavericks executing to the umpteenth degree of that game plan, it was the Suns just absolutely collapsing to that same degree. It was a perfect storm of both. It's not like the Suns played great and the Mavs just played greater. It was really just the Suns couldn't hit water from a boat, and the Mavs were hitting absolutely everything and doing absolutely everything they needed to do.
He's on fire!
It's absolutely what it was. And it doesn't scare me to the point where I'm saying, oh my God, like the Mavericks are going to score 123 points a game and Luka's going to score as many points as the entire Warriors roster at halftime. But it's impressive. So it is impressive to collapse that hard.
It was
a great
bad if
thing
you're a
to watch,
Suns fan, right? It
Oh,
feels
yeah.
so bad because no one saw it coming in. I think everybody, it's much as like, I don't like the Suns either. Oh shit, Celtics coming back. I don't like the Suns either, but I didn't necessarily want to watch them go out like this. I literally set Sunday aside in my life and I had the day off and I was like, I'm going to watch double game sevens in basketball. This is what sports is all about. Yeah. I am excited. This is like my football Sunday of a Sunday. And I was going to watch 2 games and they were fucking pretty disappointing.
And you could have come to the lake with your friends.
I could have come to the lake with my friends, and I didn't, to watch these shitty game sevens.
Hey,
So.
but I got
torched. I got torched.
He got so sunburnt, and then
John's skin turned into the Phoenix Suns, and got absolutely
terrible.
They burned out,
yeah. I was defending you, Tom, because I understand when you make plans to do nothing. It's nothing will ever break that. It's like, nope, I'm sitting at home all day watching sports. That's all I'm doing. Sorry. And you are, as a man, are more than happy and more than willing to do that. I think that's
also
awesome.
like I had this football Sunday vibe from it too. I was like, these are 2 big games. It feels like playoff football in a way because it's on a Sunday. It's the same day, and these games are do or die. It was going to be a wonderful day. I did succeed in getting properly fucked up by myself on the couch. I did not succeed in watching fun playoff basketball. So 1 for 2.
One of those was in your control. One of them was not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree with you though. It's one of those things as just a sports fan. Very rarely does any game 7 happen in the playoffs, but let alone 2, and 2 with as enticing players like Giannis and Tatum and Luka and Booker. All playing a great day. But then it wasn't.
It just goes to show that sports are fucking crazy and no one knows what's really going to happen. And we all have no fucking idea what we're talking about, whether you're on ESPN or the AGAP podcast.
Woo! Let's go. Yep. We're just as good as Stephen A, baby.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
All right, I got to address some things in the chat. True Grit said, I think the W's matchup is super dependent on Brunson and Dinwiddie showing up.
That was going to be my point, was that Dinwiddie showed up for that game 7 and dropped 30, and he's only touched double digits a couple times in the playoffs. Like I don't anticipate Dinwiddie to play out of his mind every game like he did in game 7. Brunson, though, on the other hand, has been good, and he's been putting up double digits, especially in this Suns series when there was a lot of question marks as to what his role was going to be when Luka was back. But they've been vibing, and he's still been putting up numbers too. He's getting, at least 20 a game. But yeah, Dinwiddie, I don't anticipate him to come out here and start dropping 30 like he did in that game. And then you look up and down the line, there's not a lot of production outside of those 3. I mean, there's no production outside of those 3, realistically.
Don't worry about Dorian Finney-Smith. Don't worry about Dwight Powell.
Hey, you can
look. You can go.
It's always a what if with
it's a what if, and I as a Warriors fan, like we're going in with the key, which is, I mean, Draymond Green is a defensive guru, and if he can limit the turnovers, which is going to be the question mark, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I'm still going into battle with him and his defense. I feel very good. I feel very good about the matchup.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to be just fine. Last thing, what's up?
I was going to say, as we transition maybe to talking about a preview rather than a review.
Yes.
Can we play the graphic?
100% we will play the graphic.
Right.
This is the last thing I was going to say before that transition. So a couple things. True Grit said, I mean, the flopping that gave us so much, all of the Suns flopping gave us so much Pat Bev airtime as well, which that was just fun. I mean, if you hate the Suns, it was a blast. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, that's low, that's bullshit, he's fucked up too. But it's like, come on, just let the guy have a good time. Like, he's doing the fucking carousel at ESPN. Let him just spew whatever the fuck he wants. It's great.
There was that
on the resume.
Yeah, there was that classic meme of that cartoon where this, the guy's sitting on the bus looking at the sunset, and the other guy's sitting in the bus looking at like the rock wall. But they edited it to both be looking at the sunset, and the captions were watching Pat Beverly just absolutely tear into the Suns and Chris Paul, and then watching everyone else tear into Patrick Beverly.
Yes.
I'm happy whichever way this goes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Not a great fan of CP3, not a big fan of Pat Bev. Tear into everybody because it's not about my team.
Exactly. It was so fun to watch. And then Fail Gank, appreciate the sub, my guy. You are a legend, an absolute an absolute mensch in the chat. He said, watching the Suns get blown out felt as good as Kyrie hitting that 3 in Game 7 against the Dubs. No hate to the Dubs, but man, was that good for basketball. Yeah, sorry.
Get him out of here.
Sorry, Dubs fans.
Get him out of here.
This guy's a Packers fan, John. Get him.
Get him
out of here. We'll hit him with a.
We've done a lot of failgate slander on the pod. He's allowed to speak his mind here.
I'll take a 3-1 record.
There you go. Absolutely. All right. Well, a little bit of a rougher transition than expected, but let's talk a little Western Conference Finals, boys.
Wait.
What?
Graphic?
Oh, graphic. Yeah. Here we go. NBA talk. Let's hit it.
Talking basketball with the A-Gap.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
The worst part about the graphic is it's Draymond dunking and missing right at the end. So it's like, oh shit. All right, rough transition back into the Warriors talk. But here we go. All right. I mean, basically, I got one, maybe two simple questions, and I'm gonna open the floor. Mavs versus Dubs. Obviously, who you got, and how do you guys think it's gonna play out?
You guys go first.
Okay, Tom, I'll let you go first.
I have said since I think it was the beginning of the playoffs. Maybe I think it was maybe first episode after a couple of games of the playoffs. I said it was going to be Celtics Warriors, and Warriors are going to win in Game 7. I made that my prediction a long time ago, and since it still can happen, I'm going to believe it. So I believe Celtics Warriors is going to go down to Game 7. And I don't really get how it works because as much as I watch basketball, I don't understand things. Who gets home field advantage? Is it record when it's finals? Is it record?
Record and then head to head.
And so in the event that is Celtics Warriors, I assume the Celtics will get home field advantage for that series.
No, Warriors have home court the rest of the playoffs.
Oh. Well, I feel a lot better about my prediction, and I'll throw it to you guys.
Yeah, so the Warriors have a better record than I think it was better record than the Heat and the Celtics both, or better head to head. And either way, they Warriors get with the Suns loss, they got home court the rest of the way, which is big. I have the Warriors in 6. Obviously, if it's not apparent, I'm a huge Warrior fan, so my bias will absolutely show. But yeah, I think Luka will Luka. He's gonna Luka himself into 1 or 2 games, probably at home. The Warriors are 6-0 at home in the playoffs. So I think they'll probably take 1 or 2 in Dallas. The Mavs will. But I just think top to bottom, outside of Luka, there's so much what if about that Mavs team and who's going to produce. Is it going to be Spencer Dinwiddie hitting 5 threes? Is it going to be Jalen Brunson getting to the rack? And I think the Warriors went through their worst matchup in the entire playoffs with the Memphis Grizzlies and got past them. And now it's not going to be smooth sailing by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that the Warriors will be able to kind of put the terrible display of ball handling and offensive playmaking behind them that they had in that Memphis series and go on and handle business in 6 games against the Mavericks.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Connor says. And just kind of to that point is that the Warriors have already kind of seen when we can lock in on one individual who does a majority of the offense and has kind of like hit or miss players around them. And that was Jokic. And yes, he ate. And I do believe that Doncic is going to go out there and, like Connor said, he's going to have some games and he's going to eat and he's going to go out there and probably at home light the Warriors up. He's not going to miss. He's going to prove why he's one of, the awesome young talents in the NBA right now. But we've already done this before as far as having to lock down a star player and make them heavily rely on the role players and just, it'll be what it be. But I think the Warriors are going to game plan, obviously very hard for Luka. And obviously when you have the Splash Brothers on your team, Jordan Poole's coming up. We're obviously missing GP right now. Wish that things didn't transpire the way they did, but I'll leave it at that. But yeah, man.
So
I think the matchup looks good.
Dubs in how many?
I agree with Connor. I think 6. I think the Mavs will come away with 1 in Dallas, but I think we can get them in 6.
Deal. I mean, I should have went first. You guys basically said everything I wanted to say. It would be more fun if I picked the Mavs, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, I think obviously a good team is going to beat one good player, even if, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the stat, over the course of the 7-game series with the Suns, Luka outscored Devin Booker 218 to 164, out rebounded DeAndre Ayton 69 to 57, and out assisted Chris Paul 49 to 40. Oh, and he also had more steals than the defensive of the player of the year runner up Mikal Bridges 15 to 9. So
yeah,
Luke, like you said, Luka's going to Luka.
Luka will average 33, 12, and 6.
Yep.
Without making it look like he's averaging 33, 12, and 6. And that's just Luka Doncic. And you know, the biggest key, I think, the biggest plus I think that the Warriors have going into this is that the Mavericks do not have interior protection. They do not have a guy. They definitely have perimeter defenders in Reggie Bullock,
Dwight Powell, dude,
and Finney Smith, and yeah, I mean he'll get his, and he plays well against the Warriors throughout his career, but they're averaging 2 blocks a game in the playoffs thus far, and that plays right into the hand of Jordan Poole, who is an attacking guard who is looking to drive at any possibility. And you saw he got shut down once Steven Adams came back in for the Grizzlies. He was a shell of what Jordan Poole used to be, or what we had become accustomed to seeing in the late half of the season and early playoffs. And I really think that because of that, the Warriors will be able to scheme to get Clay on the block, get Wiggins flashing, get JP and his, what he thinks are elite ball handling, but is pretty average ball handling and dribble moves, and he'll be able to attack the rim, and I think it'll be a great matchup for them. But yeah, Luka is going to average 33, 12, and 6, and that's just what he'll do.
Yep. Yeah, it's once again though. I think team is going to beat single player every time. And you know what?
Just for one thing,
go for it.
I was going to say the thing I've heard. This is what I've heard on the internet. I want to throw to you Warriors fans here. Is that the plan of attack on defense is to just let Draymond have fucking all the 3-point shots in the world, throw all 5 guys on everybody else, and then put Draymond out to bed or out there. How do you guys feel about that? Because there are some people that feel pretty confident that they can shut down the Warriors offense by making Draymond shoot threes.
I'll answer that with a question. What's different between that and the last 7 years?
Yeah, exactly.
True. That's been on tape the whole time. That's been on tape the whole time. Yeah.
I mean, Draymond had one great playoff run in his early career where he was a 3-point shooter, hitting step back buzzer beaters against the Blazers and all of this insane. But then he can't shoot, and that's okay. It's not like you put 2 guys on Curry and he's still going to be running 1,000 miles a game. Clay's still going to be running around. Wiggins will still be setting screens, and it's just Looney will still be setting screens. It's just that's fine, and I would anticipate and hope that they do that, because that's what I would do if I was the Mavericks, is just not worry about Draymond offensively. But that's been everyone's game plan forever, and it's led to a lot of deep playoff runs and a lot of great championships in Golden State.
Yeah, it's like you're like, bring it on again. Why not? Done it before.
Jason Kidd's a mastermind, so he'll figure it out.
Okay. Number one.
I like Kidd.
He is nice.
He's done great this season.
He's done good with the Mavs.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll never forget the cup. You'll never forget the cup and spilling on the court, though. Like, hit me. Like, I'll never forget that shit. Oh, shit.
That's a great call out, Tom. I mean, if there's one coach that can get in the head of a guard like Curry and like Clay and like Jordan Poole even, it's Jason Kidd. He's been there. He knows how to do it. He did it with Chris Paul in this last series. He did it with Booker. They just absolutely took them both out of the games when they needed to. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Kidd comes up with some schemes and sets defensively that the Warriors have not really become accustomed to. But I like Colby isn't saying, I think a team beats a player in a 7-game series, 9 times out of 10, I think that team will beat that player.
I fully anticipate the McCann group chat to get a little bit heated over this playoff series.
God.
We're gonna be a little pissed at us not getting up in shots, so it's gonna happen. So
for all you listeners that don't see Connor and John, they are brothers and they're spitting images of each other. Essentially, Connor just has a mustache, John has a full beard. So there you go. I didn't make my prediction.
YouTube comment.
I want to. Oh, we got a YouTube comment. Hey, he said Luka is going to have like 6 turnovers a game against the Warriors. I don't think the Suns defended better than the Warriors can. Thank you, Ron, for that. Yeah, I mean, I think 100% the Warriors absolutely are an incredible defensive team. They don't get a lot of credit for that. I mean, I think we talk about it. The people that watch the Warriors know. If you look at the stats, they're an incredibly defensive team. But obviously, because they have Steph, they have Poole, they have these electric players on offense, people only talk about the offensive side of the ball. So, great
and
comment.
It's the help.
Appreciate it.
It's the help. It's not only the one-on-one, and I don't want to harp on the Warriors, for too long. But it's not only just like the one-on-one defense. Wiggins, I think, in clutch time held his main guy to 2 for 15 shooting, right? Yeah. Kuminga can come in and get you 10 minutes and 6 fouls. Looney is an underrated defender, but it's the help defense that is the most important thing playing Luka and Brunson. And they have the best help defender in our generation in Draymond Green, coming over from the weak side, doing great rotations defensively and limiting those open perimeter shots that you saw a lot from Kleba and Dinwiddie and Bullock and Finney-Smith that they got against the Suns. I think that they'll be able to tailor their defensive scheme. The Warriors will be able to tailor that scheme to limit those kickouts and really help on the weak side of the ball. So yeah, it's a great call. Warriors have a very underrated defense somehow.
I'm just disappointed it took us 41 minutes to say Maxi Kleba's name. That made
respect. Let's get to some boys in the chat. Felgang says Mavs in 6. He can get the fuck out of here. He says Celtics.
$100 with your name on it.
Yeah, yeah, dude. There you go. $100 bet right there. He says Celtics lose to the Mavs in Game 7. Wow. So he's got the Mavs going all the way. True Grit is watching the game. Apparently, Theus had an incredible block. Oh, side note: eight into the Blazers. Wouldn't hate that. That'd be kind of sick.
I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah.
Wouldn't be shocked at all. And then True Grit also says Warriors can't slip up like a couple of those games against the Grizzlies where they went sloppy. True. They need to emphasize smart ball movement, which they've excelled at in the past. 100%. I agree.
Got to get back to the offense and less ISO ball. Absolutely.
Exactly. I'm going to make my prediction. I'm going to, just because I want to play this this new soundbite I got, I'm going to take Warriors in 4.
I'll take 4 of them.
I'll take 4 of them, baby.
That's our favorite number, Colby.
Yeah,
it's our favorite number now.
I'll take 4 of them.
Speaking, we can't. We got to talk Eastern Conference a little bit, but we are going to talk about. I know we're going to talk about the Kings having the 4th pick. That is coming. I guarantee it. But we got to talk a little bit of Eastern Conference right now into the 3rd. Miami is up 93-76. They are starting to cruise right now. So
it's like the Celtics played a really, really, really hard series.
Yeah,
like 2 days ago.
Shocker.
And now maybe they weren't ready, just like in the last series. Game 1 wasn't theirs. Yeah.
Little rust.
We'll it's
rest versus rust
series. Yeah,
and they're as we mentioned earlier, they're losing 2 of their guys too. So that's how it goes. Ron said, what happened to the Celtics? When I left, they were up. Something's going on. Something is going on in
Tired.
Miami. They probably, exhausted, don't have the legs.
Tatum's field goal percentage, then that'll tell you how the game's going.
That's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, Jamie, pull up the stats.
Also, shout out to Ron, our #1 YouTube fan. Ron is our most consistent listener to the YouTube video version of the podcast.
Oh, so appreciate it,
Ron. Shout out Ron.
Shout out
appreciate
Ron.
you.
Hey, appreciate you. Glad that you can join us. Glad you can join us live for one. Yeah, because we are now
YouTube back on. Yeah,
exactly. We're live on Twitch and YouTube. So if you're listening and you're like, "What the fuck is Twitch?" I'm sure you know what YouTube is. So hop on there, and we got a bunch of all the podcasts are getting uploaded immediately to YouTube. So check them out. All right, Eastern Conference Finals. We can make this one pretty quick if we want to spend a little more time on the Kings. Which everybody wants to hear about, I'm sure.
Hey, we're a Sacramento-based sports podcast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, all right, once again, same question. Eastern Conference Finals, Heat Celtics. Who you got? How does it play out? Let's go same order. Tom, who you got?
Celtics 6.
Okay.
Even though they're probably going to lose game 1, I still feel like it's going to be a 6-er.
Yeah.
6-pack.
So you think they steal game 2?
Yes, I think this is, at least they did in the last series. I think they're a better team. They're going to get some guys back, as you mentioned. I think they're going to be a little more rested or a little more honed in. I think when you're the best team that's been playing against the other best teams in every single series you're in is quote unquote the playoffs, the finals, every series the Celtics have been in. So I think they're a little burnt, and I think that's what's happening right now. But I think they bounce back in a really strong way.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Except in 7. I have Celtics in 7. Celtics are missing unfortunately, their 2 best defenders in this game. So it was kind of a wash. Horford is
it helping safety? I should ask. Is this going to last longer than 1 game?
Probably will.
Yeah.
He'll probably be out for game 2.
Yeah, yikes.
Because he just test positive like yesterday?
It was either late last night or early this morning is what I heard.
Yeah.
So they're fearful that he'll be out for game 2 as well. And then Marcus Smart he has a sprained foot that can linger, and he certainly will not be 100% until the later games if it gets that far. But I still just think, Jimmy has 31 right now on 8 of 13 shooting, but he has 16 free throws. So, I don't think that Jimmy is going to be getting 16 free throws a game. And he also hasn't really been, and my whole reasoning for the Celtics is just Jimmy hasn't really been facing the best individual defense and team defense throughout the playoffs. Now, it's no knock on Jimmy. I love Jimmy Butler. He will still get his.
He's the best.
It's he's great. I just still think that the Celtics overall, when fully healthy, if they get to that point, are a better team, and just have more offensive firepower, more versatility, more defensive firepower to kind of limit what the Heat do better than the Heat can limit what the Celtics do. And that's my reasoning for Celtics in the long haul, barring any major Smart or Horford setbacks.
Before I go, Avs tie it up on a power play. It's 1-1 now into the second.
I saw you give me a big face. I was like, oh shit, something's going on in John's TV.
It was a massive reverse hit that was just fucking sick, and just planted this dude. And then on the power play, they were they got one. So it was a cool little sequence.
Nishushkin.
Yeah, Nishushkin. You got it.
What a
you
name!
Nailed it.
What a name!
Let's go.
So for me, I'm gonna go this way, and I'm gonna go this way just because of the points that Connor made, but to the reverse of them, just as far as the injuries are concerned, because I think they might be a little bit more
opposite of what Connor said is what John said.
Well, no, I agree.
Same way, but the other way.
Exactly. Exactly. Never let them know your next move. You know what I mean?
There we go.
So I think that the Heat can do this, but I think it'll take 7 games. And I think it'll take 7 games because those 2 guys are going to come back, right? Horford is going to come back, but then the one that's going to be the question mark is Marcus Smart about how that foot is going to hold up.
Yep.
And I do agree that when healthy, the Celtics have the pieces in play to limit what the Heat can do. But with injuries, and then with Al Horford coming off of, I don't know how severe the symptoms are, and I hope they're not severe. I hope that he's just tested positive and he's just chilling right now. But you never know. With 2 out this early on, the dynamic can switch real quick, and you can get a little fire. No pun intended for the Heat, but yeah, I am gonna take the Heat, and I'm gonna take them in 7.
Yeah,
just for funs.
Good
I
call.
like it. I might piggyback off that. And True Grit in the chat and Ron have got me fired up on the Heat right now. And seeing them up by 20 in game 1, it just feels good. It feels nice.
Against that.
And I think I may have even picked the Celtics earlier to pick, but who gives a fuck? It's a podcast. I can rescind any pick at all. So
unlimited take back.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm fucking unlimited, baby. Unlimited. Yeah, you did. You right into it. I love it. But sorry, Phil. Phil Gang's trying to give us a donation. I'll have to check out some stuff in the back end. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna go Heat just blindly, and I'm gonna go Heat in 6. I'm gonna mimic True Grit just because if they can get game 1 here, I think they might be able to sneak out a game 2 if Horford's still out and if Smart is still dealing with the foot. So they might just get a little lucky. They might, honestly, being based in Florida, the COVID might help them out a little bit this year. So we'll see. Maybe the bubble maybe the bubble worked.
Yeah.
I I just think it's going to be for me. It rests on the injuries. It rests on like like we had all said, those question marks about like, are you going to come back and are you going to come back 100%? And while I hope that they do come back 100%, it's just with a foot injury that's tough, especially a sprain, and then obviously coming off of the list, as it were. We just don't know how that's going to play out. So I'll just get spicy with it. We'll go Heat. Plus, those ice uniforms are actually kind of sick. So.
I also wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics come back and win this game with 9 minutes left and down 18.
They easily could.
I've watched too much Celtics games this playoffs, and I'm still like thinking, maybe. You never know.
I mean, Spo is the best coach in the NBA, in my opinion, and it easily could just be a Spo masterclass, and he will just coach them to a 4-0 sweep. And all of
that
my
would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be
my predictions and analysis, if you want to call it that, which it's not analysis.
I hope Bill Simmons live televises his suicide, because that would be
awful. No, it's already awful.
Oh my god.
He's on fire.
I'm a big fan. I listen to his podcast all the time, but let me tell you, that guy would be sad if he lost 4-0 to the Heat. Man.
Oh fuck, that's good. Oh fuck, that's good.
Yikes.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a zinger, Tom.
Are we an edgy podcast? That's our thing.
We're not. Huh?
We got 6 viewers, dude. We gotta break the barrier.
We're the cum town of sports, apparently now. Welcome to the pod. Welcome to the pod. Felgank. I'll have to figure out the donation thing. But yeah, boys. Well, there you go. That's what we got for Eastern Conference and Western Conference. So.
Yeah, baby.
Good luck, Dubs. I'm rooting for you. I really am.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I really am. Right? I'm with you guys. Yeah, because if Luka goes to the finals, as a Kings fan, I might kill myself, honestly.
Yeah. And you'll see it here on Twitch.
Yeah, no, live on Twitch. It'll be the final episode. All right, relax. Sensitive times right now on Twitch, and yeah. Relax. Okay. So this might be once again the last episode of the AGAP podcast. We like to ride the line.
Keep saying it.
We like to ride the line.
We have the B-hole podcast in the backpack.
That is right. Yeah, we have the B-hole. We do have the B-hole.
The B-hole podcast.
Let's fucking go. Oh shit. All right. Well, speaking of B-holes and holes and picks and balls, the lottery, NBA lottery was tonight. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. A lot of balls flying around. So
we never saw them, though.
I'll give you the tail of the tape. Yeah, you never see them. They always just come out with the big fucking cardboard, and the guy that you never see comes out and just pulls them up and just reads off the teams. It's his one job. It's so dumb, and it's such a media grab.
You should see it live. You should see the ball. If it's a little ping pong ball thing, it would be so much more dramatic if it was like a lottery pick. And it used to be. It definitely used to be, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's because it's all rigged now, Tom. Open your eyes, sheeple. It's all rigged.
The NBA keeps trying to rig it to the Kings that can get a good player, and we keep fucking it up every time.
We've handed this to you for 16 years.
Yeah. You couldn't
can't figure it out
any worse.
The NBA knows what the NBA's been trying to make up for 2002 for the last 16 years.
Yeah, seriously.
And we just can't figure it out.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
True Grit says Chet Holmgren's going to get folded like a lawn chair next year.
Yes.
Quote, in a Kings jersey.
I wish.
In a Kings jersey. So, all right, let's talk about it. So the lottery picks are in. So here is the draft order for the top 8 picks. I didn't go all the way to 14 because who really gives a fuck? But so we got number 1, Magic, number 2, Thunder, number 3, Rockets, number 4, Kings, number 5, Pistons, number 6, Pacers, number 7, Blazers, number 8, Pelicans via the Lakers. So Lakers could have been 8, and they got Russell Westbrook instead. Or no, that was for AD.
Davis.
That was probably for AD. Yeah, that was for AD.
We haven't even started on the Russell Westbrook first round picks. That's 3 years from now.
Oh god,
your children will be watching those.
Jesus Christ, man! All right, so
the Lakers.
Yeah, we love that. Beat LA, baby. So obviously we're gonna be focusing primarily on the 4th pick in the Kings However, I've been looking obviously for the last probably 4 hours, mock drafts, prospects, positions, who we could go get, even potentially in a trade. So I'm just gonna open up the floor. Tom, I'm gonna ask you first. Which of the main prospects would you hope we could get at number 4? If we're gonna if we're using the pick, who do you want to go get?
Excuse me for my lack of knowing a lot of names, but just humor me here. So there's the guy named the guard, last name Ivy, who has been talked a lot about he's the guy that can maybe even sneak above the 4th pick, that maybe could sneak in the 1 through 3 if these teams feel like they want a guard. And I guess everyone keeps comparing him to Ja and everything. It's like there's a Ja frenzy out there. The NBA world is frothing at the mouth to get the next Ja.
But can he gritty?
I think, yep. Dude, it's honestly, it's a great time. Can he gritty? That's it. The combine should answer that question.
Dance off. All right,
so it's great for the Kings, right? We want this position, this asset that everyone thinks is going to be Ivy, to get a lot of value. Oh God!
What a save! John? Oh my God! What a save! I'm sorry.
Abs holding it down.
Oh my no! Blues. Bennington just made a fucking save. Good. Go get on it. Oh my God. Sorry. Playoff hockey. I'm gonna mute up.
And that was the hockey hour.
That was hockey hour. We did it. So Ivy, right? We all want Ivy. Ivy, in theory, especially from a trade perspective, is going to be the asset that will probably, hopefully, sell the 4th round or the 4th pick overall for, most likely. So let's just say that. So the second one, we all hear about this. It's like Sheridan Sharp or Shannon Sharp, even though I know it's not
Shaden
Sharp, who is an unknown commodity, has a lot of the skill set, body, build, whatever for what the Kings would want, but the guy's about to be 19 years old. So he's still very young. So it's not exactly he's going to fit right in. That's the other one that Colby, you sent out that mock draft that'll probably be in there. But
yep.
My desire is that Monty makes just some smart moves with it. I think the best case scenario is we make some crazy trade with it and get a player that's more on the timeline as Sabonis and Fox that helps make the playoffs next season. There will be partying in the streets of Sacramento if we can literally be an 8 seed. That's all we want. And so that's why I feel like we should trade the pick. The second best option for me would be that one of those top 3 guys falls, and one of those top 3 teams gets so enticed with Ivy that we all of a sudden can get Chet, Paolo, Jabari. So those are my 2 things. Third, that's what I got for you.
Okay, deal. I think you and I are kind of on the same page. I think if one of those 3 guys falls, I think we take the pick, we keep it, and we say, all right, you're ready to go. But obviously, Chet, I'm a little worried about. Connor and I kind of talked a little bit about that before the show. He's just like, it's hard. He's skinny as fuck and he's tall, and it's like that doesn't necessarily translate to NBA right away, right? So as you said, Tom, doesn't maybe fit the timeline that we're looking for. Paulo is probably between him and Jabari are probably the most NBA ready, I would say. So if he could sneak in and get one of them, that'd be incredible. I wouldn't be opposed to taking Ivy even at 4, but like you said, if somebody wants to really like trade up and come get Ivy and give us a player, give us some picks.
You want Ivy on the Kings?
I don't know if I need another guard, if I'm being completely honest with you. However, there is a scenario where potentially we trade Fox and Ivy and Davion Mitchell are our 2 guards and we get Sabonis on a max after this year. So that's another very enticing situation. Would I do it? It would be hard to say yes.
My De'Aaron Fox license plate says different. So
yeah, your swipe of 5 license plate. Yeah, that took you different. A year and a half to get to your house.
Can't trade that guy. That's impossible, Colby. I don't know why you'd even think about something that's impossible.
Well, so I want to throw it over to Connor because Connor actually sent me most of these questions. So how about Connor? I'll let you kind of propose these questions how you'd like to, and then the resident Kings fans will do our best to answer them.
Yeah. Just first, I think, like you said, Colby, we had a brief chat about Chet. He has everything. There's no real reason looking at his stats or even watching his film where you would say, I'm just not sold on that guy, because he is insane when you watch him play. But but it's just something about centers taken in the lottery that I just don't trust. I mean, it's been
because we're hurt.
The three that come to mind that have actually produced: Anthony Davis, Karl Anthony Towns, DeAndre Ayton in the last few years, and that's about it.
And how much do they really produce? Like they produce, like they are productive centers. Absolutely, they're top of their position players, but are they get your team over the hump players?
It's not Joel Embiid. It's not Joker. It's not
Jokic and Joel Embiid, those guys are picked in the fucking end of the first or the second,
Yep.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that Chet, if he gets into the right spot, can definitely do well. But I agree with whoever said in the chat he's going to get folded. I just don't think he has it. They're likening him to KD, and he can probably shoot very well. He can't get a shot like KD. He can't drive like KD, especially against NBA defenders who he's going to see. He's going to be guarded by 6'8" wings that weigh 250 pounds. Yep. And he is 7'1", 190.
They're going to body him.
And he's not going to post up, because if he posts up, he's going into Joel land. He's going into DeAndre Ayton and Jokic land, where those dudes just aren't going to move. So I think all this to say, I think Jabari and Paolo are the two locks of the first three. Chet, wild card, could go either way, in my opinion.
It's so funny because some people say Chet's like the no doubter. See, and that's why I think
it's very interesting. And they could be right.
And it could be interesting for the Kings too, because just like from our small sample size, after the Kings found out they got this pick, 2 hours ago, like it's going to shift. It's going to change. Like everyone's opinion of things are going to change. And I don't know. Would you consider, I know I'm changing it now, would you consider it a win if we got Chet? I feel like it would be a win if the Kings got Chet.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If we get any of those three, I'm down. Take them.
Yeah,
take them right
away.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think of the three, the best, like the most likely to fall would be Chet, just for all the reasons, but for all the reasons that we just listed too, about like, look at all the big men who have been taken at those lottery positions. And it's just like the percentage of ones who pan out versus the ones who don't, it leans towards those who don't. And so I would say Chet's probably the most likely of the top three to fall.
Yeah.
Who's the best of those three to be on the Kings? I feel it's Paolo.
Jabari,
100%.
Just outside shooting. He plays forward.
Jabari is the best. Jabari is the best player in the draft.
Yep.
As far as the prospect board goes. I mean,
he's going one overall.
He should, if the Orlando Magic have any shred of sense, they should take Jabari.
They've got Jonathan Isaac.
And he's not. He's terrible. Go look up Jonathan Isaac on Twitter and tell me that you don't hate the guy.
Oh, really?
He's just a lot of things have come out in the last few days. It's just he is a terrible person, in my opinion. He's not done anything heinous or just terrible, like absolutely the worst, but has some opinions that differ from mine, is how I'll put it. Anyways, I think Paolo and Jabari over Chet. Chet will, just because he's Chet and he has that potential, will still go top three. Best case scenario, I think, if those three go where they're supposed to, is to get Jaden Ivey on the Kings.
Yep.
Jaden Ivey, I mean, just looking at it, 6'4", 200 pounds, likened to Ja. I mean, is a very good ball handler. It gives you some size at the guard position that the Kings, do not have. Sure. And the next below that would be Keegan Murray. I think Shaedon Sharpe's a little bit too raw to put onto a Kings roster when they're sort of in that weird spot of, yes, we're still rebuilding, but you did just get Domantas Sabonis, who is in his mid-late 20s. Fox is in his mid-20s. You're not going to bring on an 18-year-old who needs 3 years of development to produce anything. So that's where I stand with that. I think the Kings are in a great position. It's just one of those things that the Warriors were always dealing with, where, we sucked. We just didn't suck enough to get that game-changing guy like a Jabari Smith. We were always on the fringe with like Harrison Barnes.
Yep.
And Steph Curry panned out, but that's an outlier. That's the exception. That's not the rule. Colby, you mentioned some questions. I had just some things I was thinking about. Doesn't really pertain to the draft so much, but you can absolutely kind of turn these into draft scenarios.
Definitely.
Mostly just trade sort of situations. We kind of talked about the prospects' hopes, who you would want, but trade-wise, would you, either of you, you're now the GM of the Kings, would either of you trade De'Aaron Fox if it meant you got Sabonis on a long-term deal and you get 2 or 3 quality, consistent, starters or 6 men who can produce on that team? Would you trade Fox to get that return?
So when you're talking like quality starters, are you talking we would get like John Collins and PJ Washington?
Yeah, like not stars.
Right.
I mean, fringe stars, definitely not superstars, but fringe stars who would come in and produce. And then outside of that, maybe one player like a John Collins, you get, a Kevin Herter or, a someone like that who can come in and get you 10 to 15 a night and produce. Would you trade Fox, put Davian at the 1, put your Jaden Ivey at the 2, Sabonis locks down the 4? Would you fill in that 3 and 5 and your 6 man by trading Fox?
I feel like it's hard to say. I would, gut reaction, yes, I would. Just because I want the whole team to elevate. Oh, we lost John. I don't know why.
He said he'll be back. His internet's down.
Brother.
Okay. Brother, no. I would want the whole team to elevate as a whole, right? But it's with a team like Sacramento getting so many an influx of new players that are like, oh, my situation just got a lot worse. That kind of negativity, bringing that into the team, I feel like is really hard to deal with. It could be seen as a fresh start, right? But I feel like a lot of guys are like, oh, fuck, I'm going to Sacramento. This is going to suck. And it's kind of a roll of the dice if they're going to be willing to work hard and play hard and try to bring a team to the playoffs. So I feel like Fox knows that is expected of him. Like, he is the face of this franchise now and has been for the last 5 to 6 years. And he knows that playoffs is the goal. And he's going to try to motivate his guys to get to the playoffs unless Tyrese Halliburton's on his team and he's jealous about minutes. But I think after the Halliburton trade happened, we saw Fox flip that switch of like, okay, this is my team. I need to go get 30 a night. And if you look at the last quarter of his season, he averaged high 20s throughout the last quarter of the season. So I guess I'm wishy-washy. My gut says yes, but my heart and understanding the team and the franchise says no.
But is that a winning high 20s?
No, it's not. It's not. It hasn't been. But I think my faith in the team currently, I'm extremely biased, but having a 4th overall pick, having a GM like Monty who has proven himself in the draft 2 years in a row by getting
2 for
2 with Mitchell and Halliburton. They both look very promising. Obviously, Halliburton ended up getting us Sabonis, which I think was leveling that up as well. A great move for the team. So I really do think that with Monty having a number 4 overall pick, I think he's going to make the right decision, whether that's picking a guy or that's trading. I just got the faith. I got the faith, and I like what's happening now. I feel like it's trending in the right direction. I'm more positive now than I have been for a Kings season, but I say that at the beginning of every Kings season. But with a guy like Sabonis and Fox, you can tell that they love each other. You can tell they want to work together. Davion Mitchell, I think sometimes his body language isn't my favorite, but I think that's just kind of his demeanor. He's just kind of a badass, and he doesn't.
He's a worker.
Yeah, he's a hard worker, and he just wants to get to work. And I think his sophomore season could be incredible. He could ascend with Fox and Sabonis. He can kind of get up to that level. So if you add,
that's all we need. He did that in the college playoff. He did that in college in general. We saw spurts of it in the NBA in his rookie year. I think he can become that guy.
Yeah.
We got all these other young shooting guards too that maybe could also start having some consistency with the 3-point field goal percentage.
But yeah, I guess I'm with you. I have faith in Monty to go get those guys without having to sacrifice Fox if he has to. If he could sacrifice the pick or maybe even just like swap with the Pelicans and go get Keegan Murray at 8, right? And go get a later round pick exactly. And the thing is, I think the Kings also have like the 43rd and the 54th pick, so we have quite a few picks in this draft. So I think we can go get some some kind of glue guys in the draft that hopefully can just start playing right away?
It's difficult because you're in that middle spot. Not only has there not been a great track record of sustained success with the players that you have, not just franchise wise, because you can't say Fox has been bad for 16. He hasn't played for 16 years, right? You don't know what this roster can do because they haven't had a full season together.
Exactly.
I'm of the opinion though that Harrison Barnes and even Rashawn Holmes have to be moved. There has to be a move that happens with either of those, not combined into one, but with either of those guys, where you trade a Barnes and a bench guy like Metu or Holiday or whoever else you have, and a protected first round pick, which is what it's going to take to get John Collins specifically, as what I've been saying. But I think you do that. However, you are sacrificing wing depth. John Collins isn't really a 3. He's more a 4, but sort of a weird 4.
Yep.
But it's kind of that in between where do you go younger and keep a not old, but older Fox and older Sabonis to try to mesh that together to get into a 10 through 8 seed? Or do you try to make some win now trades and trade away guys like Barnes and Holmes and even Fox if there's a lucrative deal, a team needs a point guard? I mean, it's just kind of hard to say. I do think they keep the pick this year, but I think they absolutely should flaunt some of those top 10 protected picks at 23, 24, 25 to get guys like John Collins and PJ Washington, things like that.
I agree.
We all think it's time to make moves. And I would honestly, if the move was we solidify someone like Sabonis, but then get very young in the backcourt with Ivy and Mitchell, I can see the value in that, you know. I don't really know how a De'Aaron Fox trade for fucking Collins and Herter to the Hawks would ever work. I don't think that's exactly the trade that would happen.
No, that Fox wouldn't. No, that would be more of a Harrison Barnes.
Yes,
totally. Harrison Barnes, right?
When
I think just like you said, Collins and Herter. As much as it sounds shitty, but Harrison Barnes, a pick and another player for Collins and Herter would be perfect, right? Like, at least as a Kings fan, I feel like that's the kind of trade we say we need, and that's trade's going to tip us over the edge. But I'm turning this back on you, Connor. A trade like that, where we would get John Collins and Herter, and that's our starting 4-5 with Sabonis, with Fox, with Mitchell. Is that enough to a non-Kings fan? Do you think that's enough to actually reach the playoffs?
And this isn't, I don't hate the Kings. I think I laugh at them sometimes, but I by no stretch of the imagination hate them. No, it's not even close. And I don't think you could get a Collins and Herter for Barnes,
right?
A role player.
That's what I was going to ask. Atlanta would say no in a heartbeat.
The Hawks are in too prime a position with Trey. They're not looking to do, we'll take your pick and Harrison Barnes to try to do a mini rebuild. No, they're looking to win now. They've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals. John Collins is absolutely frustrated with his role. But I think they would give John Collins 15 to 20 shots a night before they trade him for Harrison Barnes in the pick. It's just, there are other players other than John Collins.
What's some difference makers, right? Because I always brought up Brandon Ingram. I know we were texting earlier, the one that I just want to throw out there. Things that are never going to happen for us Kings fans. But Jaylen Brown, that'd be nice.
That would be nice. They're all nice. They would all be great, but it doesn't work out that way.
Bronny James and then LeBron is going to come sign with the Warriors in 2026.
That seems more possible than Jaylen Brown getting traded.
It's so weird because there are so many teams. I mean, you look at the Magic and the Pistons, where you see and say, I mean, Jeremy Grant, speaking of Pistons, Jeremy Grant's a guy.
Yeah.
But I think that because the Pistons should be going into full rebuild mode. The Monty McNair, right, should absolutely be calling the Pistons and saying, hey, what is it going to take? I'll give you my pick next year and a veteran guy that you can plug and play like Harrison Barnes and another role player. Give me Jeremy Grant. 3-4 guy that you can play. You can go small ball, put Sabonis at the 5, put him at the 4. That's another guy that I think that you should look at. But those types of players historically are not going to push you over the edge. It's not going to bring you from in my opinion, obviously, it's not going to bring you from where you landed this year to that 10 through 8 seed, just getting a Jeremy Grant, just getting a John Collins. It's going to take a caliber like that, hitting on draft picks, increased production from Fox, Mitchell, and Sabonis, and then more depth. I mean, games are won and lost with players 6 through 8.
Yep. 100%.
It's what you see every single year. Games are won and lost with bench players. You have the teams that rely on Giannis, that rely on Luka, that rely on LeBron, but that is an outlier. Games are won and lost with those role players. And I think until the Kings address those depth issues, while also making sure they get guys in that starting five who can consistently produce, it's not going to work out with as it's presently constructed.
I mean, you even like you mentioned the Lakers and LeBron. You look at LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. They didn't even make the fucking playoffs, and you're looking at that team thinking, oh, they're going to be a 3 seed, 4 seed, no problem, easily. Right?
Yeah.
So it is just a testament to show that if you get a big 3, guess what? You also need like a small 9 to get you all 9. The way there. Mm-hmm. You got to get you all the way there. So
those guys aren't going to play 48 for 82.
Right.
It's just it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. It will never happen.
Exactly. I'm
gonna name a couple players that I know exactly what you'll say. If these players were on the Kings, then Kings would make the playoffs. Kyle Kuzma.
No.
Taylor Horton-Tucker.
Nope.
It's hard to say because he hasn't. I would still say no, but Taylor Horton-Tucker is one of those guys that I think is waiting in the wings. That I think if he goes to a team where he can get 35 minutes a game, he's going to be very good. But still no.
RJ Barrett?
No.
Why are you naming guards?
No, RJ Barrett's a forward. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's a 2-3.
Yeah, I guess he's a 2-3. Okay.
I'm also just naming players that have been like in the sphere of forwards that the Kings at one point would have traded for, you know.
What do the Kings have to give?
Harrison Barnes, Rashawn Holmes, picks.
Yeah, but those guys, picks is the big thing if you're going to teams like the Knicks and the Pistons and other teams who are kind of at the lower half. Yeah, but to get star quality players, you need to give up quality players to get that. And Holmes and I think Holmes and Barnes picks. Or multiple picks, absolutely, yeah. But I think Holmes and Barnes are your best bet on getting any value, unless
Davion Mitchell. A lot of people have talked. A lot of people have talked about trading Davion as well. I've seen that on Twitter.
But then you would have just traded Halliburton and Mitchell.
Exactly. And then you go get. I already slipped on his fucking name. The kid from Purdue, and then you're developing another guard again.
Yeah.
But it's this rotating door of rookies coming in and out, and you're never going to progress doing that. Because I've seen that on Twitter a lot. A lot of people are like, "Oh, why don't we deal Davion? He had a great rookie season." I'm like,
if we keep trading these quality players for players that gel in theory and are more on the timeline, then in theory it's a good idea. But it also feels really bad that a team that if we had 16 years ago invest in our future, we wouldn't be in this situation, continuing to just leverage anything they have in the future. You know, like let's just keep shelling our future to win now, even though that's what we've been doing for 16 years and it's never fucking worked.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the Rams.
Yeah.
You know, trading away everything to win now. You just don't have that luxury.
Nope.
You can't win now. You can't trade away. You would be better. The Kings would be better off keeping all of their picks, sucking for a little bit longer, maybe hitting an 8-7 seed, riding out into the sunset with Fox and Sabonis, trading those guys at whatever peak they hit while they're on the Kings, getting more picks, getting more use, and just trying to go through the rebuild process again, rather than trying to win now by hitting a very low seed in the playoffs. I think
I agree.
Especially shelling all their picks for it.
And that's
I mean, John Collins would be great. King's Twitter would go wild because you're getting a name guy. You're getting a guy who can produce, but it's not going to put you over the hump. And I think that the Kings are in such a weird position right now where they can go one of two ways. They can really push all their chips on the table and say, we want to win now for Sacramento, which is a valiant thing to do. And I would respect the hell out of them for doing it. but you're sacrificing the next 16 years, the next 20 years of success, in my opinion, by doing that. And I just think it's kind of a rock and a hard place. If I were McNair, I would keep what I have, try to draft really well, trade, I'm not saying trade Sabonis. I think you should keep him, but in the future, when those star players like Sabonis and Fox are at their peak, then you can trade those and do a full rebuild. But it's just, getting that.
Then he gets fired. And then he's not the GM of the Kings anymore.
Yeah, well, that goes on to the owner talk.
How it goes. Yeah, that's a hell of a transition there into.
I was gonna say that's probably where it starts, right? Yeah. It's like, and Connor made a valid point. I forgot when we were talking about it, but it was one of those things where it's like you have to line up these three main points of the organization, which is the GM, head coach, and star players. You have to line them all up and have them on the same kind of schedule, and it's a rock and a hard place. It sucks right now because it's like we have, 2 stars in Sacramento right now, star potential at the very least, and then some young guys that are making moves. But again, like you have to get that third piece, and I don't know where it lies. But yeah, man, kind of a good transition into Kings ownership, though, huh?
Yeah, we can. I want to talk about the GM thing, but I do want to address a couple things in the chat, and then I had one closing point as well. What's up?
Hold on. Celtics made a comeback. They're down by 7. With a minute and a half to go.
Down by 7, minute and a half to go. Tune in, boys. Tune in.
What did Tom say?
We got the score in the top right here.
Said it.
Here we go. So a couple things I wanted to. So this actually ties into the transition we're about to make. Vivek's daughter is going to influence our draft pick. Who's the best singer amongst the prospects? Oh boy, we're gonna dive into that right after this. And then TrueGrit says, "Yeah, let's be real. Nobody on our team is safe from a trade." I agree 100%.
Yeah.
As Connor said,
it has to be like that.
Yeah, it has to be like that. He also said 10-point game. It's legitimately a ball game. That was a little while ago. And then Ron's been chiming in. He said, trade Fox while he's worth something for picks. In my opinion, they need a lot more to be threats. I say this because the Bulls are in the same camp. He said, yeah, right now, if we went and got John Collins, that wouldn't be enough. We'd be stuck in purgatory. It says Connor's right. Stockpile the picks to have more shots at a franchise player like Giannis. My final thought before we go into the whole GM thing. I've thought about this a lot as a Kings fan. All we want to do is get in the playoffs, right? We're pushing for the playoffs. And then we get that 8 seed, that 7 seed. We make the playoffs. We lose in the first round. Then what? Then King's Twitter is mad that we're not a contender. Then
I don't know about that.
Dude, bullshit.
I think we got a very, very, very low bar we're all setting for this.
Dude,
Tom,
you as a
sports fan, I know that it's the wrong thing. You can't be happy with that.
If you give a mouse a cookie, Tom, if you give a mouse a cookie, what happens?
You want more?
You want more.
You want some milk?
He wants some mo. He wants some milk. When you give him some milk, then what does he want? He wants more. He wants a John Collins. He wants a PJ Washington.
He wants a John Collins.
Yeah, he wants the cookie recipe.
Yeah, he wants his picks. Yeah, he wants a ship.
I want my picks.
He wants a ship. All right. But yeah, I've thought about that a lot. It's like, okay, we make the playoffs. If we lose first round, it's like, great, wonderful season. Kings made the playoffs. The drought is over. And then it's like, okay, but now what is this team? Are we a playoff contender? Are we a fringe team? And are we comfortable just being a fringe team? Like once we make that playoff, once we get to the playoffs, it's like the identity is kind of gone in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like we're then, as Connor was saying, we're stuck in that limbo.
Same team we were, except we made the playoffs one time.
Exactly.
Except you just reset the clock.
Yeah. We're the
Washington Wizards.
No, or the Minnesota Timberwolves this year, right? Like that's who we are.
The Timberwolves this year. They played.
That's true. It was fun to watch. It'd be a fun. It would be a fun surging thing.
Heat win, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 118-107 final. The Heat win and the Heat cover. So for those of you that won some money, congratulations. TrueGit said still made a conference finals more recently than the 76ers. I forget. I don't know who we're talking about there. Oh, the Kings. Duh. You don't want to be a fringe team, man. I'm in purgatory. Yeah, he's a Blazers fan. I get it. That's the thing, man. It's tough. It's tough. You guys also got fucked by us today, specifically in the lottery too. So
yeah,
sorry.
Dame's face was so funny.
He was him and Domas were looking at each other, and Domas was kind of like gave him the old shoulder shrug, like, "Sorry, dude, gotcha,
Ouch.
gotcha." So yeah, that's the thing I'm concerned with is once we do get over that playoff hump, then we kind of lose our identity of like the team that's never made the playoffs. And then now we're just the fringe team, and where are we at and what's going on?
Then we're just an average to bad team like we were before, except we don't have a 16-year drought.
Yep.
You're
and like
De'Aaron,
yeah, exactly. And we're worse off for the future. And De'Aaron Fox and Domas's legacy is they got to the playoffs once. Cool.
Hey, they broke the drought, dude. Maybe I'm more on the side of just they'd be partying in the streets.
I'm down.
I would love it.
I would love it.
In the fucking play-in. I just think King's Twitter and King's I know it doesn't count. I'm just saying that King's Twitter, that's how desperate we are, and that's how low the bar is.
I agree. It would be it's like I mean, I don't want to bring drugs into this, but it's like chasing a high, right? It's like you get your one hit, you get to the playoffs, you're like, yeah, this is great. And then the come down is atrocious and it's the worst. And you you completely regret everything you just did.
Yeah. So we get another 16 years to win a second round.
Post-nut clarity, exactly. No. All right, well, that was our King's soapbox. Wait, there's one last thing to talk about. For those of you that didn't hear, the Kings hired Anjali Ranadive. If that name sounds familiar, she is the daughter of Vivek Ranadive, who is the owner of the Kings. She is now the assistant general manager of the G League Stockton Kings. Her previous jobs were pop star and social media manager for the Sacramento Kings. So, anybody want to hit a nepotism or what a shit show? Absolute shit show.
I was wondering what.
Hey, later on. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
Was wondering what the duties entail for G League GM, but she is going to be a part of player evaluations, player development, as well as team strategy. Her previous position was for the team's social responsibility department, and that's like you said, that's her NBA experience. And then she had how many? 2 shots in the All-Star game?
I think one or 2 shots in the NBA Celebrity All-Star game.
What college she go to? Can anyone pull up where she went to college? Does she have a degree of any kind?
I'm pulling up the wiki.
Like a business degree.
I'm pulling up wiki right now.
I mean,
Sierra College, fucking 2-year transfer agreement. Like, just give me something here. Like,
I feel like I'm more qualified than her for this role. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put down women of color in the executive space. I love it. I stand that. I would love for all women of color to have opportunity.
Am I right?
However, you also need to be qualified for the role slightly. Like, come on.
Slightly.
I understand she's been around basketball her whole life. I understand that. I want to know.
That's like me saying I could coach Michael Phelps because I drink water my whole life.
Exactly. Yes.
It doesn't.
Over under. Oh, let's be nice. Over under 35. How many college games did she watch last season?
Under.
I agree.
By a mile.
Under by a mile. So that's what I'm trying to say here. And I might be projecting. I could be completely wrong. She might love basketball. However, I don't get it. She's going to be Vivek's pawn.
But that would be like, because I love baseball, I can go coach the Giants, right? It's right. I understand that. But being a part of so I did a little research on who the Warriors GM of RG League is. And his tenure before that is he was a part of the player development team, an assistant role, then took over that role. Then he was in a scouting role as an assistant and then took over the head scout role and then got into the GM position after having all these different walks up to that point where GM is going to be a part of all of those facets. Player development, you're going to scout players, you're going to come up with strategy. And like you said, it's it's no offense to her. It's just you don't have the experience. You came from the social responsibility department, which is probably just a lot of telling you how to be a good person and telling you to go volunteer at certain things, and maybe the social media department. You're not watching players and getting like the X's and O's down. And so it's a questionable hire to me at best. And that's just kind of my opinion on it.
I think it's also, I want to shout out Only Mac. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Yeah, we're celebrating the 4th pick. We just talked about all the options. Also, you've been crushing it on the streams. Keep it up, my guy. Connor, what were you saying though?
I was just gonna say, yeah, it is, all of those things are true, and I agree with everything each of you has said. It would be questionable to me if it was just some random woman, man, whoever hired without experience. Questionable. This is borderline egregious and absolutely fireable because she is the daughter of the owner of the team.
Exactly.
Like, if that does not raise 1,000 times more red flags than, because I mean, there have been hires in the past where I think an NBA team just hired a Nike executive to run a very high operations level in their team. And he had some pretty good basketball knowledge, but I don't believe had any real professional basketball experience. Questionable, but you can see where the thought is, right?
I mean, even the Lacob family did it with the Warriors a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade, but that was I saw a lot of people saying that like that happened in like 2001. That wasn't that or like early 2010s. That wasn't like 2015 when it mattered, right?
Yeah.
And I understand people could argue that for the Kings as well. Like, it doesn't matter. However, with a guy like Vivek Ranadiv, who has gotten so much negative press and has been such a quote unquote micromanager of the team, to have somebody in his now immediate family directly influencing player development, player performance, player acquisition, like that's basically his pawn. Like, she's going to be sitting in on the meetings, reporting back to him. That she's going to be his eyes and ears on the organization.
I would argue that in professional sports, what you do at your absolute lowest from an organizational standpoint matters more than what you do at your absolute peak from an organizational standpoint.
100% agree.
If the Kings are right now at their lowest of low, not saying they are, but we'll just say what if they are at their lowest of low, what you do now is infinitely more important to your future success than if you had just won the championship last year and you put her as your assistant GM of the G League.
Yep.
It is so agreed. When you sent that into the chat, I was so blown away. I had absolutely no idea how bad it was and how bad he has been for that team.
Yep.
But if I knew nothing else about that man and how he runs that organization, and I just saw that, I would say that's the worst run team in professional sports in the world.
It's egregious. Yeah. It's egregious.
It is,
I would agree
terrible.
And like, what a slap in the face to all the guys who have been grinding their ass off as data analysts, who have been fucking spending hours in front of data sheets and fucking stat sheets. And
going to games.
Sorry, my daughter needs a job. Her pop career didn't work out. She's now your boss. What the fuck? Talk about a toxic work environment.
You think you're going to bring in any coaches that way? Like, you're having a hard enough time bringing in players. You think you're going to bring in any coaches that way?
Yep.
Scouts too, lower level ones.
Hell no.
This is not a flex because I was on a flight with Bobby Jackson recently. He was literally flying coach going to Atlanta. I was like sitting in the airport and I'm like, that's Bobby Jackson. Holy fuck. Didn't go up and say anything. It was like 6:30 in the morning. We were both exhausted. I wish this had happened before then. If it did, I would have seeked him out and been like, hey man, I'm sorry. How do you feel about this? Like, because he's the head coach of the Stockton Kings, for people that don't know. So it's like he is directly going to be influenced by her. And it like his team could suffer. I mean, she's the assistant GM, but she's in the room. She's in the room with everybody making decisions.
And when your dad owns the team, it's not like people can just ignore your bad opinion, right? Like your dad owns the team.
Yep.
So it's a different. It's what
it's crazy.
Workplace dramas and HR nightmares are.
Look out, Monty McNair. Daddy's girl's coming.
I was gonna say the only thing for me is that with an owner, because she could be the most personable and like the organization could love her and all these different things. But my thing is that you have an owner who definitely, like you said, is going to ignore that he has had people in positions who could be the next person up, man or woman or whomever could be the next person up that has had experience in the field to set the G League up for success, which is player development, getting him ready for the next level, scouting the next talent, trying to find pieces that fit. And I just don't think you take somebody who needs to, get job experience and put them in such a high demand, or not high demand, but high ask role. They're going to look to you for a lot of things. And it's just, I don't know that you should be getting on the job training in this position. I think you
100%. And it's like, you own the team, create a position for her. Yeah. Like she easily could have been senior director of talent acquisition. And that means maybe she's just really good at saying, how marketable is this player? That's her role, right? Like, or
marketing the team, or marketing the players, right? Yeah, right. Even a lower level marketing
could literally have been anything else than assistant general manager.
Yes,
of your G League team.
Like the probably top 3 most influential staff member to your team and your development of your young talent. Insane.
It just plays into the narrative that you guys have always spoke to. And it just, again, having listened to you guys talk about it is why I'm so intimate with it. But it's just, he's not a good owner. His priorities have been elsewhere. By him looking to go acquire Premier League teams and shit like that. Like, his mind is elsewhere.
I wanted him to go do that. I wanted him to go get Chelsea so that somebody else could come in and buy the Kings.
I feel or he would just leave it alone.
True. But that's the thing.
True. Like Chelsea,
he could just own both and just not give a fuck about the Kings. That's my point. Is that I think ownership is just one of those big question marks for the Kings, and it sucks that like at the very top is where there's some serious question marks.
Yeah,
it's been the bane. It's been the bane of our team. That's why we've been so bad for so long. I mean, and once again to bring it back to her, and I feel bad just like talking shit about her. Hopefully, hey. Prove us all wrong. I'm looking right at the camera. Go prove us wrong, please. I would love nothing more. Nothing more. However,
it's nothing against her. I mean,
no, it's not.
It's not against her. It's not her fault.
Nope. Right.
Nope.
And it's not like, please prove us wrong. Please do great. I don't know anything about you. I'm shooting from the hip here, but it's just the optics of it and the choice of position and the track. It's just a terrible move.
It's getting ridiculous. It's really
ridiculous. What they're doing out here. I hope y'all see it.
I hope y'all see it. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Yeah, the fact that she was singing the national anthem and performing her single at halftime 5 years ago and is now assistant general manager to the G League. Aggressive.
American dream, baby.
Aggressive.
Don't forget why he bought the team in the first place. His daughter liked playing basketball.
Loved playing basketball, so he bought a team.
Daddy said, I'm going to buy a team. And now
he chose
look at her now.
Granted, it's Stockton Kings, but still, it's like directly influencing our young talent. All right. Okay, that I think is the official Kings soapbox, unless anybody else has anything to add. No. Oh my God.
I'm beat after that, dude.
I know, me too. I'm emotionally beat. We should have done that first. That way we could have talked about the more positive stuff later. But all right. And that was, we literally just talked about NBA for an hour and a half.
Wow.
Only Mac. Yes, I did see the new ruling that could be coming to the NBA that on a clear path foul that you would get 1 free throw and possession back, which would be absolutely incredible. Make it happen. Do it now. Yep. Silver, stamp it, send it next season. Let's go.
And the in-season tournament.
Yeah, I love that because they do that with soccer. It's fucking incredible. Makes it fun. Gives other teams a chance. Like kind of gives the Kings a chance to show up and get some national attention. We'll see. Mike
absolutely.
Bibby. Oh, True Grit said Mike Bibby bench press expo during halftime. Let's see it happen.
Hell yeah.
I'm down. Let's get juiced.
That'd be fun.
All right, guys. We talked about NBA for a while. If you guys want, let's wrap it up. Make these quick. MLB. The Giants are still cruising. Had a couple rocky games against the Cardinals. Specifically, yeah. Thank you. They've been actually crushing the Rockies, which has been nice. But the Cardinals, a little tough.
Today.
Yep, let's go. And then, however, Rodon got kind of blown up. Are you concerned or are you not concerned? Was it a fluke?
Yes.
I'm just going lightning round here. We've been live for a bit, so trying to
get
the boys to dinner.
Many games against the Cardinals, so I felt like Cardinals really had his number. It was kind of fluky. It was the end of a long series. Weird shit was going on. I wouldn't hang my hat on.
Fluky. I think fluky. You really give credit to guys like Scherzer and earlier versions of Kershaw and Verlander who can go out there for 20+ games and shove every single time. Rodon, curveball was up, fastball was down, opposite of what he'd been doing the last few games. It's a fluke. It's a long season. I still think he's top 3 in the Cy Young race. He'll bounce back. I mean, the guy's electric. It was just a fluke.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. Everybody pour one out for Luis Gonzalez. We love the guy. We miss the guy. He'll be back. However, LaStella came back and fucking hit one out, lead off.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos. It will be a home run.
For those of you that didn't know, that was the Castellanos. What were you saying there?
I don't know if I'd be putting on his headset again.
Man. Did you see his home run? Lead off home run?
Jack, 460.
He's been waiting, dude. He's been
into
waiting.
The second deck. He heard us talking shit and said, "Shut up, I'm back."
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, he is.
How did Cobb do tonight?
Pretty goddamn well, from what I could see.
He's looking all right.
Cobb went 5 1/3, 10 hits, 7 earned runs.
Oh, what happened?
1 walk, 4 Ks. Yeah,
did we win?
Yeah. They're up 10-7 in the 8th. Yeah, he gave up 5 in the 6th.
I spot started him because I thought he was going to do okay. That's terrible.
Awful. It was 8-1 when I looked at it earlier. Yeah, Coors Field's going to Coors Field, I guess, right?
I guess so, dude.
Yeah,
8% Cody never hurt anybody.
Few walks, few singles, and then a 3-run home run to top it up. In the
Yikes.
All right. Well,
he's our 5th starter, guys. Let's not panic.
It's fair.
He's our worst starter.
At least the Giants' offense is back. At least we're not scoring 1 to 2 runs a game.
And the Dodgers are shaky right now.
Love to see that. Love to see that.
Shaky.
Do you want to say Manny Machado is absolutely destroying the baseball right now?
Yeah.
He is going off.
Ignored unrequested. I got him in fantasy this year. He has been just raking. It's been incredible. Finally worth the money, Connor. After all that shit you talked when we were in San. What was it, like $13,000 per pitch? I think was the calculation.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was making up numbers. I was making up numbers. I think they changed every single time, but that was.
I think we won the series, right? So it worked out. It was all.
There you go.
We won one game.
We
they
did.
Were 1-3.
I was too fucked up to remember. In my head, we won all the games.
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
We won the true game, which was the friends that we made along the way.
There we go. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That was a great time. All right, last one on the Giants. Are we fully sold on Casali over Bart?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So easy. Yes.
I don't want to be hitting. So
I know that's
185.
Yeah.
Sorry, bub.
And Casali had 2 home runs last night?
What's Joey Bart's strikeout rate?
50% almost.
Yeah, it's like 46%.
It's atrocious. I'm better in MLB The Show, and that's saying something.
His on base percentage right now is like 385, 185 average. He's got just 34 strikeouts over 65 ABs. He's not a great. I mean, it's one of those things where if you had him and he was just electric behind the dish and was just amazing, but he's not. He's not that. He's average at best behind the dish defensively. Send him down. Just send him down.
Yep. Does he have any options left?
I don't care. Send him to fucking
throw him on waivers,
Richmond.
dude.
Send him to fucking Richmond. I don't care. Get him off of the professional team. He is not a professional major league catcher.
Dude,
Evan,
Casali so is right now too. As much as Casali's not the future, but Casali looks like the catcher that can win us games right now.
He is.
We don't need like an incredible we don't need another Buster Posey. Catchers are losing offense rapidly. Like catchers aren't hitters anymore.
That was the smartest point I think I made on the last podcast when we were talking about fucking Joey Bart. We're having the same conversation. And I was like, we will always be disappointed in any catcher that this team will ever have while we are alive.
Yep.
Yes.
There will be nobody that will get to that level.
And if there is, it's extremely lucky.
Great point, though, Colby. Catchers by position in the MLB so far have the lowest batting average. I think they have the second most home runs or something like that, but lowest batting average across the league catchers. It's just not. It's not what you need. You do not need that slugging catcher that you did in the 90s, early 2000s. You need outfielders and middle infielders who can hit high average and get on base.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the Jonah Heim is like one of the best catchers, and he's only hitting 277, 523 slugging, 365 on base percentage. Ugh. Yeah. So, all right, boys. John, you want to wrap up with a quick hockey hour, then we'll do takebacks and grievances?
Just like I said, the game sevens that took place were crazy. If anybody was fortunate enough to watch that Calgary-Dallas game, Ottinger, who's only 23 years old, put on an absolute clinic. He made 60 saves, which was just an unbelievable number and some of the most athletic saves you've ever seen. But a lot of the series were hard fought, really good hockey going on. This game going on right now, St. Louis, Colorado, another really hard fought one. It's gonna be fun hockey to watch for the remainder of the playoffs. So tune in if you can while it's still fresh.
I love it. And this is the time when hockey takes over, because NBA is doing like every other night, or it's like one game and then a couple days off, then one game. So hockey is going to be the perfect filler right now.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 a night from now on. So you're going to get some good ones. Again, the one that I'm super intrigued about, and I think is going to be it's going to be a fucking hard hitting one, is going to be that Edmonton and Calgary series. I think it's going to be, I'm so excited. It's going to be good hockey.
Oh, let's go. All right. I'm going to open the floor. Any takebacks, grievances? I'll start us off. I have a takeback. I said Warriors in 4. I'm going to go Warriors in 6.
Pussy.
So I just wanted to play the sound effect as well. So I'm going to go Warriors in 6 with the rest of everybody.
I like
Good
it.
Call. Good call.
True.
Grievances, takebacks. Anybody go to Chipotle recently?
I take back going into the sun without sunscreen. I take it back. I was just kidding. Can I not do that again, please?
There you go. You learned your lesson. Hey, sometimes the base burn is more of a lesson than an actual base burn.
Oh God!
Dude, holy shit!
Oh yeah, it's not good.
Yikes!
Look at that.
Not good.
Shoulder.
But you get that base burn, turns into a nice base tan. A little bit of that, those. I'll probably add another mole or two after.
I think it's so cute when you're optimistic.
I think the point of getting a base burn is not wearing a shirt while getting it. I think that's kind of a big.
Because then you got to reburn that.
Yes. Yeah.
See, Jess was already trying to do that at the lake. She was, painting the lines and everything like that. So we'll figure it out. Look, I haven't been in the sun in years, so I'm just figuring this out, man. Excuse me.
Hey, you gotta touch some grass every now and then.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Or a lake.
Band, yeah.
Alrighty, boys. Well, hey, if you made it this far into the podcast, or if you're still sticking with us on the stream, we love you guys. We appreciate you. Connor, I want to say, dude, thank you for filling in for Matt.
Thank you, Connor.
You are an absolute legend. Absolute legend.
You.
As I guarantee this will not be the last time you join us, so we appreciate you being with us, my guy. Matty Ice, I know you're at Top Golf ripping some drives. We love you. We know you're doing a good work out there, so we love you, and we'll see you for the next one. Great stuff, Connor. Great stuff, everybody in the chat. Thanks for being here. We love you guys.
And from the
great
crowd.
participation.
Yeah.
You guys kept us going.
Always.
This was a marathon day, and we appreciate you guys for being with us. So thank
Just
you.
wanted to say no takebacks, no grievances, but thank you for the opportunity. I sincerely appreciate it. Like I said, kind of getting the call up from the chat to the stream. It's my first time ever, so I love talking sports. It was an absolute blast. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, nice. Man. We're glad to have you. We've now had like 2 out of our 5 regulars, so we might just need to kind of slowly work everybody in. So if you listen to us, hit us up. Maybe you'll get on Kevin an episode someday. Oh, Kevin doesn't know shit about sports, but we'll find it. We'll find something to talk about. We'll find something to talk about. All right, love you all. We will of course see you next Tuesday. And have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'm playing the outro. Let's get out of here, boys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.